and welcome to another episode of Modern Mom Probs Live. I am your host, Tara Clark. And did you ever have a day that sort of just got away from you? Well, that's exactly what just happened to me. So thank goodness for my special co-host who always keeps me in line, Katie Mulvaney is here with me. And I don't know what I would do without Katie because I was just going about my own business and I thought, holy cow, it's 8:30 on Thursday night. We're here for Fireside. Hey, Katie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. I was, totally true story, watching the Weird Al Yankovic movie and I was just, that was it. So it got away from me. Anyway, so here we are now. So thank God for you, and I appreciate you more than you even know. So today we're going to be talking about the witching hour, and we're also going to be bringing on a special guest, Ashley, and I'm going to be bringing on her video right now. But just to give everyone a little bit of a heads up, we're going to be talking about newborns and sleep and the postpartum transition that babies go through, that parents go through, and how to get our kids to sort of make it through the witching hour. All right, let's see. Bringing Ashley on. Let's see. Should work. Give it a second. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what happened to me today, but I'm so grateful for both of you, and thank you for being here. So, Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to be where you are today.
Yeah, so 12 weeks ago, I had my first child. My daughter's name is Autumn. Right now, I'm watching her on the monitor, peacefully sleeping. I hope she stays that way until we're over. I love being a mom. I met Katie through work, and she's been rock solid with just bouncing off. Am I crazy for thinking this about my newborn? Or like, is this a legit feeling or not? And even before I had my daughter, Katie's just been a good person to bounce everyday life experience off of.
Yeah, she totally is. I've been bouncing life experience stuff off of her for years, but she is though. Because you know what it is? The special thing about Katie is that she's so understanding. Like if you're going through something, she, like even if she herself hasn't gone through it, like she'll still say like, I appreciate that. Like I haven't experienced it personally, but I can imagine that would be really challenging.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
yeah. It's the like gas Katie up story here. But no, we appreciate you. So Ashley, you have a 12-week-old.
Yes.
Right. And I have an almost 10-year-old. He's going to be 10 next week. Katie has a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So we all have different ages here. But today we're talking about the witching hour. So do you want to explain what that is?
It might mean something different to everyone, but to me, it is that it could be 45 minutes, it could be 4 hours of you don't know what exactly your child wants because they don't know what they want. For 10 seconds, they're absolutely happy. And then another 10 seconds, they could be losing their minds. And normally for us, it could start anywhere between 5 and 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. Luckily, she's has a decent sleep routine for a 12-week-old. I am very blessed in that aspect. But I know other parents, it can go on for 4 or 5 hours, and you will do anything to try to get them to be content and try to go to sleep or eat or just stop crying.
Yep, absolutely. Have you ever heard of sundowning? Are you familiar with that term? Do you think that your child has some issues with that? Because I know that when my son was born, I'm pointing up because he's like above me right there.
I'm looking down because she's right there.
Yeah, you're looking at the monitor. I'm looking up there. When my son was that age, my husband would often say that he was having a hard time like sundowning. Sometimes that happens with like elderly folks, elderly patients. They get confused with days and nights. And I think that also does happen with babies as well.
I have to say, knock on wood, I hope this doesn't change, but I know the 4-month sleep regression will possibly happen. Yeah. My daughter's never had her days and nights confused, and I know not many newborn parents can say that. We try to get her outside in the daylight as much as possible when it's not raining or pouring or it's too hot for her. But we've been very lucky with that aspect. She knows when it's night. She's pretty good about going back to bed after feedings. So I don't think my daughter does sundowning at all.
Good. That's good to hear. I'm laughing because Frankie just gave us a comment and he's talking about, wait, hold on. I just had it here a second ago. Oh, I lost it. Let me see. Frankie says NFL Red Zone has a segment near the end of the games called the witching hour, where the games can be win, can be a loss, and a loss becomes a win. That's funny. Trying to give you ladies a laugh. Guess I'm that guy. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate that. Sometimes, but even in parenting, sometimes a win is a loss and a loss is a win. So whether we're talking about in the red zone or if we're talking about parenting, I think it kind of goes either way.
I have to say, I think the witching hour, we often think about it with newborns and the elderly, but I think everyone experiences it. And this is something that I've really been noticing a lot lately. My 2-year-old just started the terrible 2. She's tantruming like crazy. And I'm going to say 90% of her tantrums are between like 5 and 7 at night. Which is fun when you work all day and that's the only time you have with them. And you're so, it's great we had this special time together. That was really wonderful. But I even noticed like my son who barely has tantrums, if he does, it's going to be during that time. And myself, I'm pretty chill most of the day, but if I'm going to lose my mind, it's going to be between like 5 and 7 at night, right? So I really think it's kind of almost like the full moon. What the full moon is to the month, like that time of day is to the day. Yeah, is to everything.
Circadian rhythm.
Exactly.
Do you think that it has to do with that they're hungry or tired or need a bath? Because usually those, at least for my son, is like those are the 3 or 4 things that he needs. Either he's hungry, he's tired, or I need to throw water on it. And do you find that to be the same case?
I definitely think hungry is part of it. I get home from work, I'm trying to make dinner. Today we got home a little late because we had to stop at my husband's work for a few minutes. So we didn't go home until 5:30, and they were both losing their mind because they were starving. So I'm like trying to make spaghetti real quick or something quick that they can just eat, but it doesn't happen other times of the day. Like they'll just say, I'm hungry. I got the food. But at dinner, it's like,
yes,
all bets are off. Everyone's upset, So
it's funny. I think for my son, I'm just trying to think of when his witching hours. And again, he's older now. When he was younger, it totally was that time period that you're saying there. But you know what? His tends to be either 4:00 when he gets home from school, when he is again tired or hungry, or right before he goes to bed, and he's in bed and he's just starting to say crazy stuff, and you're like, okay, now you're talking crazy, you gotta go to bed. Does that happen with your son, Katie?
Oh yeah, for sure. Sometimes I'm like, what? I always say to him, I want to hear everything you have to say, but I want to hear it tomorrow because it's time for bed. That's what I say to him, because it's always I think he's asleep. Oh no, he's saying something interesting.
Yeah, no, it really is some next level stuff. Right before they go to sleep like that. I don't know why, but that's when, at least for my son, he just starts talking all kinds of stuff. I'm like, okay, that's
is it almost like they get a sudden burst of energy and they just want to get everything out?
Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is.
And you see that sudden burst of energy coming and you're like, okay, get them ready for bed before they crash because it's coming, right?
Yeah, no, that's when you really do have to hurry up and do all of that kind of stuff. So Ashley, for you with Autumn, how do you manage that witching hour, or the 2 witching hours is,
yes.
How it goes together?
So I do a lot of bad singing. I will get a tune and I will just make up words to what I'm doing, what I want to be doing, what I should be doing. I can rhyme really well now. I think you get that ability as soon as you become a parent. I do a lot of bad dancing. So my husband, he works nights this year. So a lot of the times I'm solo during that witching hours. So it's getting the bottles ready. It's putting her in the swing that's mostly in the kitchen and just trying to make her laugh, keep her content, when I'm done like doing all like the mom duties I have to do that don't involve holding her, if we have laundry to do or fold, she sits on my lap, and again, some lullabies, some nursery rhymes we'll put on. It's a lot of moving. So is it dancing with her, just walking around the house? She really enjoys being outside, and she's a hot baby, so she loves the cold. So right now it's a little too cold, but we went outside on our deck a lot. We would even just go get the mail at like 4 or 5 o'clock at night, or even later when it was still summer and it was daylight longer. And worst comes to worse, when my husband is home, she gets in the bathtub with me. She loves the bath. She loves water. If he's not home, I'll put the kitchen sink on and run her feet underneath it, and she's content.
That's great. As a general parenting rule, right across the board, always throw water at it. The kids are in a bad mood, put them in the bath. They're in a bad mood, run their hands underwater, run their feet underwater. If it's the summertime, turn on the sprinklers and the hose. Like, water is always the answer.
Yes.
It really is. Pearl, she didn't have colic when she was little, my daughter, but she was close, I would say, and especially bad, obviously 5 to 7. And I read somewhere if you just put the top of their head and run water on the top of their head, that it like calms them down, and it really works great. It's definitely a good trick to try if you have, baby with colic or any problems, because water helps everything. It's really true.
I don't know how or why that works. I mean, I know that there is a physiological answer and reason for that, but it does work. And so anybody that, whether they're a new mom or medium mom or veteran mom, like right across the board, I often say to my son, like, if he's having a hard time, go take a bath. So I say it to all moms, put them in the bath, put them in the shower, put water on it. It makes such a world of difference. It really,
we could say that to other moms. I think water helps us. A hot shower, a long bath, absolutely, no matter your age.
Totally does. When my son was an infant and he was going through the witching hour, I often wore him. He really enjoyed like the carrier. So I wore him at home all day, doing things, walking around, even like standing up against a wall, like just because like after a while it's like hard to carry them for that long. So even if you just like put your back against the wall and you kind of just like lean there with him there, that was a big part of soothing his witching hour issues.
I do wear my daughter a lot at home. Yeah, just gotta get stuff done.
Yeah. Frankie's given some great comments. He's talking about the temperature changes may bring different weather pressures as well. You're right. He is a 1-year-old toy chihuahua, adorable, runs his life, drives him insane because he doesn't know what he wants to do. That's actually really funny. Thank you, Frankie. I'm giving you some claps on that one. Did that work? And what about pets too? Do you find that your pets have a weird witching hour, that they get a little wonky?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. No, I changed my answer to yes. My dog's a barker for sure. And I think, this is, I think, an important part to bring up in motherhood also, is that's how overstimulation becomes a little bit of an issue when your kids are young. That's where the overstimulation for me gets the worst, because what happens is, like, I'm trying to cook dinner. Both my kids are having meltdowns. My son's having a meltdown, but everything's like, mom, right? And then my dog always has to just start barking in my face, like right then, right? Just like, that's when I lose my mind, right? That's when like the overstimulation really kicks in. And for the longest time, I thought it was postpartum anxiety, because I was just like getting like, you both know me. I'm not someone who loses my mind, like loses it very often. But over the course of the past couple years, I have been. And I thought it was postpartum anxiety or something. And it occurred to me like 2 months ago. I was like, oh no, I'm just really overstimulated all the time. So It's interesting you bring the pet thing up, because I think that is the thing that throws me over the edge every day. But when I do lose it during that time.
But do you think your pets are overstimulated because of the kids, and that's why they react?
Possible. No, I think we get overstimulated when the pets start acting crazy.
I don't
Right?
know. I think we're all just on this schedule where we're just like, we can't handle this time of day. Like, it's just,
It might
you
be
know.
that. You know what's funny that you say that? Because I have 3 indoor cats. We have 3 outdoor cats, but they're feral. But we have 3 indoor cats. And between 5 and 7, maybe actually a little bit later. No, they nap between 5 and 7. Around 8 o'clock, they wake up and then they start acting crazy. But that's the time that like we're trying to like calm down and like settle our house. But then the cats are going nuts, and so that's sort of an issue in our household because then my son wants to go play with them, and I'm like, no, it's bedtime, But the cats are waking up and they're like getting into everything.
Yeah, it's a problem for everyone. That's like, it's what I've concluded for this.
It's true.
No one
I
is
love
immune
pets.
to the witching hour.
Yeah, no, I think that's what it is. But my recommendation would be, like I said before, feed them, make sure that they go to sleep at a good time, and throw water at it. You know, put them in the bath, get their feet wet, put their heads in, and those are my, from a veteran mom, those are my 3 tips.
I agree. And I think, you know, the other thing is like, don't be afraid. Sometimes when you're just having a rough time yourself, like let them watch a video or whatever it is that's going to make them calm down for a minute, because, you know, it's.
You know what we used to do for my son? When my son was Autumn's age, we put on a lot of music and a lot of like silly music. I'll give you an example. I don't know how or why we started doing it, but we used to play him the Italian Tarantella. And like we would put on these like ridiculous, it'd be like polka music and like just like really crazy, silly stuff. And he was just like a tiny baby, and we have the cutest videos of him like laying next to, I don't know if it was like I had it on my laptop maybe. Like I said, like the Italian Tarantella and like these like such silly old-timey songs, like old-timey, genuinely
Right.
old-timey songs. And that used to get his attention because it was so strange and so weird and polka music and whatever. And that would sort of like distract him from the colic or whatever it happened to be. So music is another great thing too.
That's absolutely, I agree with that.
Autumn really likes 90s rap.
That's perfect. Me too.
And I
Same
really
thing.
like autumn. I know, exactly. Me too. We have a lot in common.
No,
Yeah.
definitely
What I do
music.
to calm down as well. I put on the 90s rap music.
Yeah, same. Thank you, Frankie. Frankie's super complimentary. He was saying it's a great topic. Thank you, Frankie. That's so sweet. I think that's really kind. I also, you know, we were just saying here about being overstimulated. I feel like that might be our next topic, ladies. What do you think?
Yep, I'm mastered getting overstimulated, so I could definitely talk on that.
You're like, I am the expert in being overstimulated.
Not solving it, but I can tell you how to do it if you want.
You want to know how to get to right about here? I'll show you how I get right about here.
If they didn't create that show Boiling Point like however long ago, I would be like, I have an idea for a show. Come to my house at 5 o'clock every night and see how long it takes you before you start yelling.
I feel like that could maybe be a new like reality show to see how long it takes us as parents to reach our boiling point.
Better
would
yet, bring in non-parents to a house with children.
That's it.
And
We're
then
gonna
see how
drop
long
a
they last.
non-parent off at Katie's house at 5 o'clock and see how long they last.
I think my daughter can take them on. I think it wouldn't take too long for her at all.
2-year-olds are the masters at that. Like, God bless anyone that has multiple 2-year-olds because 2-year-olds are tricky.
I have to say one thing. I say this at least twice a day. I don't know how people have more than 2 children. I don't even know how I have 2 children. But like, I don't know how
I
people
think I say this every episode.
right, exactly. Like, what I struggle when 2 kids are losing it at the witching hour. What do you do when you have 5 kids that are like losing their mind? You know, that are all under like 6 years old. Like, oh wow, these people must have just like nerves of steel and just don't get rattled by anything, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, the good thing is that, I mean, unless you have like quintuplets or something, you don't have five of the same age.
Right.
So at least they are spread across, right? I just did a podcast yesterday with a woman who has five kids ranging in ages from 13 to 3. And so during this conversation, we were talking about like squashing the idea of like having it all. Like, what does it mean to have it all? Can we have it all of that stuff. And, you know, in the conversation, she came out that obviously community is a big part of it because you have to like look to friends and neighbors for help, but also too, like the older ones take care of the younger ones. And so that's another thing that, you know, we can't take for granted in larger families, which it definitely
It
helps
takes
out.
a village.
It does take a village, even if it's in your own family or whether it's neighbors or friends. She was telling me that they do this like meal exchange with her neighbors in her town and some of her friends from her church, that she only cooked one meal a week. She makes one meal for 22 people, and then that gets like divvied out, and then she receives other meals 6 nights a week. And I was like, that's amazing. And she said she's done it for like the last like 3 years. So she's like, I've only cooked like one night for the last like 3 years.
That's an amazing
Sign
idea.
me up.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, yes, please. Sign me up for that one. I'm all about that one. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But ladies, we're almost at time. So I'm going to ask you right now, what are you guys doing next Thursday night? Should we talk about being overstimulated?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
It's done. All right, that's it. And next time, I'm not going to be late because I'm going to remember what day it is.
You might have been
That's like my
overstimulated tonight. It's fine.
That's right. It's usually me, Tara. They'll text me early in the day on Thursday. I'm like, is it Thursday today?
I was so far off, so I am really so sorry. All day today I thought was Saturday because in New Jersey, the kids are off for teachers' convention. So my son was off today, and he's off today and tomorrow, and so I didn't know what day it was.
I feel like that's a newborn mom life. I never know what day it is because I'm not going to work right now.
Yeah. That is real.
Between weekdays and weekends, right?
It's just a
It all just blurs into one
Yep.
same thing. Yep, absolutely. So next Thursday, 8:30 Eastern time, the three of us are going to be here. We're going to talk about being overstimulated.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
That's great.